Hey everybody, how's it going? Icy Cat here with another map walkthrough. This time we're taking a look at Chalet. This mountain village gives you lots of great opportunities to get in and assault the structure. What are the best spots to assault and the good positions to defend? Let's take a closer look next. As we begin the walkthrough for Chalet, I want to remind everybody it's broken up into chapters. You can skip ahead to the chapter that you want to check out by looking at the comments down below the video player. That way, if there's a certain section you want to skip ahead to, you can do it there. Each map walkthrough is broken down by category. First, we'll start with the attacker spawn positions, then we'll move on to camera locations and trapdoors. From there, we'll do the general map walkthrough and just take a tour of the entire level. We'll also check out some key breaching spots, and then move on to drone access points and hiding positions. Let's begin by taking a look at the first of our 4 attacker spawn positions. This first one is going to be the exterior front yard. As you can see, this puts us right next to the large radio tower. We can climb up that ladder and snipe the front of the windows. Coming through the front section, we will be placed next to our first exterior camera position. We have access to the front of the main living area through there. We can come up on this ladder on the side here and get upstairs to the library. There's also another ladder up here that will join the connecting hallway or get access to the master bathroom. If we come through here, these doors will come around into the gaming room, and this is also very close to the helicopter pad, so if we wanted to get on top of that and snipe and cover these windows, we could do that from this position as well. Next up is the campfire spawn position, and we've got a few interesting choices here. We can come up on top of this rock, we can vault on top, and then one more time up here, and now we've got a great coverage over the patio that overlooks the side of the master bedroom, and we can lock that down if we're sniping at all. Coming down this side, this will bring us to our other exterior camera position as well as the gazebo structure, which is another great position to get on top of if you want to do any kind of sniping. This will allow us to keep a good eye on the back section of the master bedroom as well as the connecting office room. Coming down to the front here, we can also get some pretty good access to the door that goes downstairs into the basement. There's also the kitchen window overlook. If you come up on this little balcony here, you can actually look right into the kitchen and see into a little bit of the dining room there. And if somebody's walking around, or you can throw some grenades in there, whatever you want to do. And let's just go back up to that campfire spawn, because you can also come around here to the west, and then this will put you closer to the garage doors and the other side. So if you wanted to come in through the side entrance there, you could, or you could breach through one of the garage doors here, and that'll put us right inside of this section. The third attacker spawn will be cliffside. The cliffside woods will give you the ability to come up these side stairs, and you can get right away a good sniping position. You can use this rock as cover and watch the front door or the window. You can also get on top of here, drop prone if you'd rather do that. You can also come over and go up this ladder, or there's another ladder here that will take us up on top of the balcony. If you shoot through those windows, you'll overlook that whole living room area. We're also very close to our first camera position here if we're starting on this side by the gazebo. Again, so we're just coming from the other side that we were opposite the campfire spawn. So these are the stairs that go down. If we do start on this side, we also have the option of coming up the west side of the building, and this will put us over by the snowmobiles, and we could breach through the garage panel here, and this will bring us into the snowmobile garage area in the basement. The fourth and final spawn is the lakeside location. This is going to put us right next to the helipad, so we could come up on top of here and use some of these boxes for cover while we engage these windows. Come over to the other side, and you can also do it from there, or keep a line on maybe the master bathroom windows if you wanted. We have a ladder right in front of us that will allow us to get on that ledge. And we can also come through the bottom floor and get into the trophy gaming area. We again have that camera from our first position, and right over here is that radio tower. So if we had wanted to come up here, We could do that by going up the ladder. You can also come down the side path, and this will put us right over by that garage breach again. Next up, let's take a look at where some of our camera positions are. And the first one we're going to start with is going to be in the second floor bedroom hallway. It overlooks a stairwell here that goes down. This large wooden beam is going to block most of your vision, and what it's actually best for is showing you if anybody's coming up or down the main stairway, as well as somebody approaching the door to the master bedroom, but not necessarily what happens when they get up to it. The next camera position is going to be located in the great room, right where the main fireplace is located. And even though it's in this room up top, this is going to be labeled as the second floor fireplace hallway. This camera is going to show the entire main great room and give you great line of sight down the side hallway that leads to the master bedroom, as well as what's happening in the library. We're also going to get a good view of the stairs on the side and the entrance to the bar and the dining room hallway areas. The third camera position is located at the top of the second floor library hallway. It's right on this rafter next to the skylight, and it's going to be labeled actually as first floor library stairs. It's going to show us what's going on with the stairwell. You're also going to get a line of sight on the doorway that connects to the library proper, as well as the second floor fireplace hallway and the connecting hall that connects to the bedroom hallway. The next camera position is going to be located in the basement. This is in the snowmobile garage. Right above the door next to the boat is where we'll find this. Using this, we can keep an eye on the stairs that go up to the great room, as well as the garage door and the connecting side door that goes into the basement storage room. Now let's take a look at our two exterior cameras. And if we begin in the backyard patio, which puts us right in the facing of the great room entrance, and turn around, we'll find the gazebo. And just in front of the gazebo on the white pole is where we'll find our first camera. As noted in the attacker spawn locations, this is between the campfire spawn and the cliffside spawn. Facing the building, we can get a view on anything that's happening on the upper ledge above the exterior patio, as well as the windows that connect the side room and the master bedroom, the kitchen window and the little stairway that goes down below that, as well as a little bit of the patio and the trophy room below that. The final exterior camera position is going to be in the front yard. This is facing the door that leads to the main entrance. And if we turn around, it's going to be between the radio tower and the helipad. And the front yard camera is going to allow the defenders to keep an eye on that front entrance, as well as anything that would be coming up on the ledge approaching the library windows or the area down below it. We'll begin our trapdoor overviews by starting with the second floor library. The entrance on the floor will open up and give us exposure to the first floor gaming room. Just to the side of the second floor library trapdoor is another one. This is in the library entrance. Opening up this one will allow anybody to drop down into the first floor bar section. Going back up to where that one was located, just off to the side in the second floor library hallway, we can open up the panel in this floor, and this is going to put us right on the other side of the wall from the one we just dropped down. This is the first floor gaming room hallway, and we're right outside the bar instead of being inside it. So you can see here we have the two literally right next to each other, just separated by that interior wall panel. The next one is located in the second floor bedroom hallway. Opening up access to this hatch will drop us right down into the first floor dining room. This is like this little connecting hall. This will oftentimes be covered up with a wooden barricade, and this can put you on the other side of it quickly if you need to get into the dining room or kitchen. The final second floor trapdoor is going to be located in the master bedroom. When we open up the floor on this hatch, this will put us right into the kitchen. If we have an objective in here, we'll be able to drop down nice and fast. Taking a look at trapdoors we have located on the first floor, we'll begin with the bar. Right in the back of the counter for the bar is a hatch in the floor, and if we open that up, we'll be able to drop right down into the basement snowmobile garage. Next up in the southeast corner of the first floor great room is a hatch, which when opened will give us access to the basement storage room. Coming into the first floor dining room in the southeast corner of the room, we have a floor hatch. When opened up and dropped down, this one will allow us to get right into the basement wine cellar. Coming in through the first floor main entrance, we have a trapdoor on the side, and when opened up, this will allow us to get quick access into the basement garage, which is just off of the wine cellar. Our final trapdoor is going to have a little bit more limited use, but if you come back into the trophy room and open this up in the corner, it will allow you to keep a watch on the door if any attackers come through here. This is probably more useful as a defender, but you can keep an eye on anybody coming in through that door. or you can come to the other side and watch the garage if you'd rather do that. Let's begin our general map walkthrough by starting in the second floor master bathroom. So we've got this window here that will overlook the front section of the building. You can see the radio tower there, and anybody crossing this will make some pretty easy pickings for a defender that's watching the window. You do need to be aware that there's a ledge that runs outside of this window, and in fact, most of the windows on this floor that can be accessed by the attackers using a series of ladders. Coming into this room, none of the walls in here are going to be breachable except for this one panel with the white on it. And you can make a little murder hole here and keep an eye on the hallway or watch as people come through the door, whatever you want to do there. In the corner, we do have this jacuzzi tub, and you can get in here and use this for some partial cover as you engage some of your zones, or you can drop prone, and you'll be pretty hard to see until they're more or less right on top of you. Coming through into the master bedroom, we have this back bedroom terrace. These railings here are where they'll use their rappel ropes to climb up, and then they'll come through either the window or the door in this section. An interesting note is we have this trapdoor that we talked about in that section, but if you knock a hole in the wall right here, then you can kind of get a good line of sight into, well, when the feet are behind you. You can get a good line onto this window here. As a defender, you can kind of intercept anybody that tries to hop through that window if you're pretty good in your response time. So any of the walls in this room are breachable, these white walls. You can come over here and, make a hole and kind of watch for anybody coming up the main section of that hallway. You can also push through into the room next to it. Again, pretty much any of the windows are going to have these little ledges on them to kind of get into. You'll have ladders that lead up here. Sometimes they'll wrap around and lead into other rooms. Let's just get back in here real quick, come into the hallway. So we do have a little section here with some crates that you can use to, kind of get some cover points behind if you wanted to. Also interesting to note, if you need to get downstairs quickly, you can't get around this too easily sometimes, but you can just vault right over the edge and hop down and get it down here a little faster. So all of these white walls can be fully breached. And if we come in here, this is the second floor office room, so we can, look right into the next bedroom there if that's not reinforced. And again, we have this ledge that comes around. Out here, we have the second floor office balcony. So there's a ladder here that leads up for the attackers. They can get up here. Any of these window panels can be knocked out, and then an attacker can just kind of get a good line of sight, directly into the library there or cross any of the balcony railings here that are on the inside. Just depends on, which, let's just open this up a little more. You can really control huge sections of this, but you do need to be careful because you'll stand out. You'll be kind of silhouetted with all the bright light behind you, so you'll be pretty easy to get picked off if you're not careful about it. Let's come back inside and come through here. So, you can use some of these murder holes to control zones. Depending on where you want to put some of these things. You can also get on top of some of these planted sections and come down low and be sort of in cover and do some sneaky things that way if you want. These display cases, you can't get shot through the case. No penetration occurs through the other side. So that didn't actually penetrate into this wooden surface here, but the glass will break. But you can use these as cover if you need to. This will lead into the second floor library entrance and then into the library proper. So in this room, these stone walls can't be breached, but wherever you see these white paneled walls, you can shoot right through these. And let's just come into here for a second. We have more of these display cases and bookshelves, and you can kind of get in behind some of these. Sometimes this is a spot where people will sit and pick things off. As I was mentioning before, how we have these ledges, you can follow this all the way around. It wraps around the side, and then this will be right where I was saying before that sometimes somebody will be hiding in this section. So if you wrap around the edge, sometimes you can get the drop on somebody that's in that position. Another position people like to be is over here because you have this metal window that can't be breached. So this is a pretty secure spot for defending because you're protected on three sides pretty well. These red wallpaper walls can also be breached. They're the same as the white walls, just on the other side. They have the wallpaper on this side. This balcony up here, you can kind of use it to, maybe control some window or door openings. You just have to be careful that they don't pop some of these windows on you as you do so. Starting with the first floor trophy room, we're going to check this out. So you can see that we have a lot of stone walls in here with the metal shuttered windows that can't be breached through. You do, however, have the wooden windows at either end, as well as a trapdoor. I covered this in the trapdoor section, but as a defender, if you wanted to pop that, you can keep an eye on this door that leads in from the outside, and then if anybody came in, you could sort of get the drop on them quickly and easily from that position. So where I was talking before about that window that you can cover, that would be right through here. So if you had opened up a hole right about here, that's going to be the trap door that was right on the other side of that. So when you come through, that would be the line that you would have if you were trying to get somebody coming through this. If you do push through, though, you can use the display cases in here as partial cover. And none of these black kind of like marbly textured walls can be penetrated, but these olive green ones can be. So you can go through this one and that'll put you into the kitchen, or you can come on the other side and this one will put us into the first floor main entrance. Coming through into the first floor kitchen hallway, this kind of connects this is like the hub for this side of the building. So we've got a trophy room there. Next up, we have the kitchen. So this wall could be pushed through. In fact, any of these white walls here can be fully penetrated and come through if they're not reinforced. And we do have the trapdoor that's above us in this room. You're going to want to be careful in here because we've got this window. And you can come up here, you can vault up here if you're a defender, and you can shoot out and try to maybe pick off an attacker. But there's a ledge on the opposite end, it's right about down there, that they can stand on, and they can shoot in through the window. And they can see a little bit of the dining room, as well as if you're walking around anywhere in this section. So do be careful of that. You can't barricade that window, there's not much you can do about it. Let's come through into the dining room next. Again, we have the same, black marbly textured walls. You can't penetrate any of these using a breaching charge or anything at all. So there's not much that can be come through in this section. And, this beige sort of stucco-y texture, you can't come through there either. Again, just this white wall panel here. So you can't come through here either. This is the first floor main entrance. So on the other side of this is that trophy room where we were just putting a hole in the wall. And when you come through here, you can either go up or down. Let's follow through the other side, though, of this. So coming through the first floor dining room, we sort of have this little foyer section, and then we open up into the great room proper. There's the Defender camera up here that you'll want to be careful of. In this room can get a little complicated. There's so many angles in this room. So much from up top. You can come up from down below. You can hit them from the sides. So just be really careful coming through a section like this. So as mentioned, we do have the stairs that go up and down over here. And on the other side so any of these walls here can be breached. And same for these walls on this side. This will put us into the first floor bar. And you can use this handy countertop that sort of bisects the room and get behind here for cover and engage targets in this section. You do have a floor breach to worry about, and there's a ceiling breach over here on this side. Let's come through out into the back gaming room hallway here. Again, we have a stairwell that will give us access to either up or down. And, these doors that kind of lead in from the outside. So frequently, this is one that people will come through. Let's push through into the gaming room on the first floor here. Again, another popular door to come through if they spawn on this particular side, as well as a window there. We have the black marble walls, and the only wall that you can really kind of push through on this side is this wallpapered one. And if you do, this will put us right on the other side of the bar. So on this side, you can get in here quickly if this hasn't been reinforced at all. We'll actually begin our tour of the basement by starting outside. We've got the double garage doors over here in the exterior front yard position. And the reason we're going to start on this side is that you can actually breach right through the shell of the wall and come straight into the garage. You can also do so off of the small main garage entrance. You can come in through here and get in this way as well. And there's not much that really happens in this room very often. There's no objective that's ever placed in here. None of these walls can be penetrated with the exception of the garage doors, and there is a trapdoor in the ceiling. This will funnel into a smaller hallway that will then bring you to either the stairs that go up. So this would bring us up to the first floor main entrance again, or connect over to the side here. This is a door which can be accessed from the outside. If you come up here right over by the gazebo, if you come straight across from that, there's the stairwell that goes down. And real quick, this is that ledge I was talking about earlier, where if you stand on this ledge, you can fire in through the window into the kitchen. And if anybody's walking in here, you'll be able to hit them. Or if they're running around back in the dining room section, you can hit them as well. So that's that ledge I was talking about earlier. Anyway, these stairs come down, and we will find ourselves into the main basement hallway section. And you'll notice that we kind of wrap around the room here. You can come into the wine cellar through the main entrance on this side, where all of these walls can be breached. And you can see straight back through here. And same here. You can breach here if you need to. Consequently, this also is a good way to keep an eye as a defender. You know, if you want to see if anybody's going to come through that door and just be ready and waiting for them, you can do that. But this little side hallway here will also give you an opportunity. If you're a defender, you know, you can be down here and waiting for somebody to come through it. Or as an attacker, you can push through right away. And if this wall hasn't been reinforced, you can come through into the side. This is the basement wine stock section. And this is good. You can actually penetrate through this wall as well and surprise them from their flank. Or you can come through into the main section of the room this way. The wine cellar is this L-shaped room. It has a trapdoor in the corner there. And you can also penetrate any of the walls here if you want to use any kind of a breaching device on them. Handy for making a murder hole if you want to keep an eye, you know, maybe on the garage door, or if you'd rather keep an eye on the stairs, you can make another one. I believe it's right about here. Nope, over a little more. Here, and that will keep an eye on the door that leads from the other hallway. There is a drone vent in the room here, so be aware of that if you're playing defense. And we find ourselves now in the basement storage room. This section is a little bit more useful as an attacker because when you come in here, you can sort of drop down behind and use these boxes for cover. It's not quite as useful of a room as a defender unless you're playing the wall here and sort of splitting the angle a little bit. So let's just come through here. And again, we have another garage door. You can breach this shell from the outside. And come straight into it. Do note that there's a drone access vent there. And you can use, you know, the snowmobile as cover, what have you. There is actually a way to get up into this boat if you put a deployable shield right here and then vault up on top of this thing. You can actually run across the shield and get in here and then drop prone in the boat if you wanted to. But that's not something I really waste my time with too much because if people come around the corner, I mean, you're right there. You can get the drop on them, and they can get the drop on you just as easily. So, but it can be done. None of the other walls, with the exception of this little box here in the corner, can really be breached. Although you do have a trapdoor in the ceiling to be wary of. This back hall is pretty much just a straight shot. You do have this little nook on the side. If you wanted to ambush somebody coming up or set a deployable shield or something like that, you could do it. But none of these walls are going to be something that you can use to breach with. That's the other side of that drone vent we were talking about before. Then we come up the stairs and once again find ourselves back up onto the first floor in the gaming room hallway. Now let's take a look at a few good breaching spots on this map. Coming up to the second floor in the master bedroom, if you put a breaching charge right next to the bed here, you're going to get a little yellow symbol. There it is. And if we hit this, this is going to go off right above the fireplace in the kitchen. And if there's usually the hostage is right about in this position, and you can get some good line of sight going into this section here, or directly underneath. If you wanted to clear the section just to the side of that, you could also plant another breaching charge on this side, and that would get the other side of that counter. So then you could get pretty much any angle in that room from up above. One spot we can get some pretty good coverage is if we go into the second floor office and come sort of right behind this red chair almost, and then place that cluster charge down, we're actually going to see that fill the dining room pretty nicely. And since the hostage isn't in this room, and yet there's frequently somebody hiding in this back corner, using this to fill up this whole section can very effectively create a lot of damage in this whole area. We even managed to blow a hole in the trapdoor, and just anything in this entire half of the room would have gotten pretty damaged. You can see our hole came through right there. Another good position to use the cluster charge is if you come into the second floor library and you come right about where these books are and place it just above that green one there. And let's come down into the bar, just get a good look at what that dispersion is going to look like. And so if you've got somebody that's kind of hiding behind the counter here, we can fill this section up with explosives. And we even had one come all the way over here. That was a close call for me. And, you know, really did some good damage in this whole section. Didn't quite manage to pop the trapdoor, so if they were way back against this wall, they might have been okay. But you get that random dispersion when it comes through, so you're never quite sure how they're going to bounce around and interact with the environment. But, you know, it's pretty substantial damage. Even if they tried to run out of here, they probably would have gotten some hits there. And if somebody was here, they would have taken some damage too. A good place to use a cluster charge can also be right over by these crates here. If you place it on the floor, we should be able to fill that wine cellar room nicely. Let's get a look and see what that is like. Next up, let's take a look at our defensive spawn positions. And the first one we're going to start with is the wine cellar and snowmobile garage spawns. For bomb, you'll have B in snowmobile garage. For this one, you know, you might want to put up some armor panels or maybe a deployable shield and clog that doorway. You can also maybe line the stairwell with some barbed wire to make it difficult to come through. Put up a deployable shield somewhere if you you know, want to stop them at any point. And this garage door is absolutely essential to put up reinforced panels on, and definitely put up some either bandit batteries or mute jammers, something like that, to prevent them coming through that. You'll want to go up topside and hit some of these trapdoors for protection. There's actually 3 of them. So there's one there, and then the other one is in the wine cellar right there. You could put a trapdoor up there as well for the reinforcement panel. You might want to, you definitely want to actually reinforce this back wall here. And if you can, this back wall, if you've got enough left. If not, maybe just throwing up, you know, a quick armor panel. A quick armor panel is better than nothing. You can also do some things like if you don't have enough reinforcement panels to go around, maybe you can make a hole and watch the door here. Or you could make a low hole and watch that longer hallway if you needed to. But you're going to want to be careful. They really can't breach this half of the wall. Up above it is like tile and marble flooring. They can't get in here. But right in this section, any of this flooring can be breached on this half of the room. And this will probably be a pretty hotly contested section as well. The next bomb spawn is going to be the master bedroom and office one. And over here, bomb B in the master bedroom, really depends what you're going to want to do. I haven't reinforced most of these walls because there's so many ways that you could play this section. You can make, a murder hole here and keep an eye on anybody trying to come up through the door. Maybe even make one a little higher, whatever you want to do. Or you could completely reinforce this. We come through in here. Castle barricades with jammers are a good idea on any of these windows because they will stand on the ledges and come through the windows if you're not careful. So I would recommend castle and mute to be paired up in this section for sure. This wall, you may want to reinforce it and close it off. You may want to open it up just so you can respond to somebody placing a diffuser on one side or the other and still get the drop on them. Same with this wall. You'd probably want to reinforce this most of the time. But you can also get a good murder hole setting up here and watch a line down the hallway. You can come across to the other room. You probably want to reinforce these walls, but, you can do things like making murder holes to watch approaches here too. It all depends which angles you want to cover. And then once you decide that, just go ahead and reinforce everything else. Again, we have another window here with a ledge on the other side, so they could come through this window. You maybe want to put a castle barricade with a mute jammer there as well. And just be wary of this balcony that they can approach from. In fact, one thing that's kind of good to do is maybe there, just sit down here in the corner and just drop anybody that comes up that ladder. You can also hop up here in the planter and wait for somebody to come across, which is a somewhat sneaky thing to do. But beware that the attackers will like to stick a drone in here too, because they can keep an eye on both of the bomb positions and the doorways and be relatively hidden in here. So even though you can do it, they can do it too. You can also do the same thing for the stairs here. That way, anybody coming up the stairs might not be ready for you to be there waiting for them. Also be aware that you do have these crates here that you can sort of hide behind and get some lines and defenses and get them as they come up the stairs here as well. The next bomb position we have is the bar and gaming room, and this one is going to have this connecting wall here that will typically be in reinforced, but again, you could leave that open if you want to respond to anybody that tries to plant a diffuser in there. Make sure that you cover up your drone access vents. I've got one here, so this jammer ought to cover that. This back panel here is pretty essential to cover with reinforcements and jammers or bandit batteries, something like that, so that you can maintain the integrity of the safety behind the counter. You just have to kind of worry about what might come from above, but you could also blow the trapdoor here and have a route to escape if you needed to. Another thing you can do is coming along the walls here, you can get down and make some murder holes down in the corner or something like that. So when you first come through, you will have those for incoming fire. One thing I've done a few times as a defender that's kind of fun is I've set up Tachanka right here, and then he can really cover this hallway and he can turn and respond to the window and door here, and a lot of people aren't necessarily expecting to run into Tachanka right in this section. Of course, you can get nailed pretty hard by anybody coming through the library or if they come up through the basement stairs, but as whenever you might use him, you do run those sorts of risks. Another thing you can do is attempt to set a cross trap by hiding in the foliage here, and then when they attempt to move forward to breach the door or the walls, you can kind of hit them from behind and they may not be expecting that. This is a popular spot for drones to kind of come through from the outside, though. You can also sort of do a little bit of that here. You can get down prone and, again, you can be seen, but people might not be expecting you to be sort of laying down in the foliage. And especially if you're one of the Spetsnaz operators, you might kind of blend in a little bit better to the green environment there. People will frequently come in through this door on this spawn, so be careful of that one. Good spot to put Kapkan or frost traps. And then as far as this room goes here, you're just going to want to be careful of the window and the door. So again, some of the Kapkan or frost traps might serve you well. And you can, maybe set up some positions with a deployable shield or something like that, or whatever in here as well. The next bomb position to cover is going to be in the first floor kitchen and trophy room. This could be a tricky one to do because you've got this window to contend with. And as I said before, you can get a sniper sniping in here. You can get somebody coming up on that little section on the ledge I showed you, and they can shoot in through the window. So you've got that to worry about. You can set somebody up in the dining room, and you can sort of revisit a little bit of that trick about, maybe having somebody prone in some of the vegetation and being a little sneaky that way. One thing you can do is set up, like a cross shot down this hall. If they come forward, you can hit them there. I would maybe barricade up this section with like double panels and maybe even some traps in between. A jammer is a good thing to place right here in the middle. That way, if they try to come through one of the drone vents or try to roll through, they won't be able to necessarily get in there. So this whole wall section you're going to want to reinforce for sure, and definitely send somebody up to reinforce this trapdoor, because if you don't, that's just going to be a way that they're going to come in quickly. You can reinforce this wall, or you can do what as I've done here and just kind of blow that open, and then you can fast respond between the two rooms. If they plant a diffuser in one or the other, you'll be able to deal with that quickly. I've got a drone jammer down here. And after the prep phase is over, you can pick these back up and then go find a reinforced wall panel and put them on that and, make more use of it. But that's something you can do. As I was talking about in my other section, you can definitely keep an eye on, some of the openings here if you need to do that. But this window is going to be a common egress point, so be careful of this one. Maybe put a frost trap there. For hostage rescue and secure area, you're going to be able to use a lot of the same tactics as you have the same objective points. However, there are two differences in these modes. One of them is in secure area, you will find yourself in the library room. This one is a tricky one with the windows because there's so much. There's the ledge that runs the length of this and comes around the other side. They can come up and melee their way through the doors and windows. Glass can sit outside and snipe from the helipad. There's just, you can get into a lot of trouble with these windows here. So I would recommend taking castle barricades, putting them up there, pairing with mute jammers that can then protect those from being breached. Then you only really have to worry about like sledge coming up on those. Go ahead and stick reinforcement panels along this wall for sure. You can reinforce these walls here and here if you want to. Same with these walls here. As long as you have enough to go around, it's fine. But the other thing I like to do is I like to open up this trapdoor, because when an attacker finds himself in here, they're going to be, maneuvering around and trying to get their shots. And it's so easy for one of them to just fall down that hole there. And while that doesn't cause them any damage, it screws up their approach. So, if they're trying to do this thing and they fall down, you've just kind of, given yourself a second chance to deal with the enemy. You do need to be wary of their approaches through this door, though. They'll push hard through there. One thing I like to do is take a deployable shield and stick it here, because you have 3 walls of defense already. You can't shoot through this bookshelf. You can't shoot through this metal wall. You can't shoot through the bottom half of this display case where it's solid. And then you put a shield in front of you, and you have 4 walls that you really can't get shot through. You do have the little gaps. You got to worry about the little gaps there, and then over the top of the display case. But still, very solid protection. You can really turtle up in this corner and, engage anybody coming through there or through here. Pop up as you need to deal with things here and come back down again. It's a pretty good spot. And unless they throw a grenade at you, you should be all right. The last objective position that's a little different for secure area is going to be the dining room. Before we were in the kitchen and the trophy room, and this is just next to that, but the setup is maybe a little bit different. Again, I would open with closing off this section and putting down a jammer so that you block the drone vents on either side, plus one coming through the middle. You can even put a second one down here if you'd like to really kind of hold them up as they try to push through that. None of the marble walls can be breached, so you can safely, get up against these. And I would recommend getting up against them if you're going to be in this section, because you got to watch this window. you can be hit from that window. So if you can see the window, they can look in and see you. And that's going to be safe right about here, right in the corner. And you can use a little bit of the foliage to your advantage. In fact, you can even drop prone and look for feet as maybe they, try to push through. Do be aware that you have a drone vent here in the corner. And then it's tempting to go ahead and seal off this door. But I'm going to say don't do that. And here's why. You can come over here and get that line down the hallway, and even maybe something like that. And you can control that hallway pretty easily. And if you throw down, maybe like a castle barricade on this door or something like that, and then a mute jammer, it's going to make it harder for them to come through. And then what's likely to happen, especially if you reinforce this wall and stick some jammers or bandit batteries or something on it, is that they'll come in from this room, probably pushing in through that window or maybe this window, and then they'll try to come in. If you stop them with the reinforced walls here, they're going to have to funnel down this hallway. And if you've got a kill zone set up, as soon as they step out into the hallway, they're trying to creep around, and you can get the drop on them no matter which of the two doors they come out. If you make it so they can't funnel through the kitchen, then you've got that pretty good. And even if they open up this doorway and come through, you've still got control of this section. So consider not blocking up that door and rather blocking up this one and reinforcing this wall back here. Being able to get your drones quickly into the building is going to be important for intel. And let's start with the exterior campfire wood area. Coming through this will put us right into the basement main garage. On the opposite end of the building, near the exterior snowmobiles, right by the garage door, we've got a little access on the vent here, which will put us into the basement snowmobile garage. Our remaining outside drone access vents are all going to be located on the backyard patio side of the building. The first one is going to be right off to the side, and when we push through, this is going to put us into the first floor dining room. Starting from the vent we just went through, if we turn over to the side just a little bit over this little dip in the snow mound, we'll have another one. This is going to put us through a longer tunnel and right into the first floor dining room hallway. If we push forward from here, we'll actually then come out into the first floor gaming room hallway right next to the bar. On the same side of the building, just a little further down, we're going to be in the exterior backyard area, and coming through this vent will put us into the first floor trophy room. This is just off the side of the kitchen and the dining room. If we find ourselves in the first floor gaming room, we can come through right underneath the dartboard. This will put us into the back of the first floor bar right behind the counter. Downstairs off the basement snowmobile garage corridor, we have a vent, and following this one will put us right into the main wine cellar area. The final quick access vent for the drones is going to be located in the second floor bedroom hallway. It's right behind this pile of crates, and coming through this one will put us into the second floor master bathroom right off of the master bedroom. Now let's take a look at some of our drone hiding spots. This house has a lot of these vegetation kind of plants laying around. Some of them are down low on the ground like this and work well for hiding your drone in, making it hard to see. And these are kind of all over the place. We've got one here. This is directly across from the kitchen. We can see in there. The dining room just has a bunch of these. This is just some great spaces to hide some of your drones in. They're a little hard to see out, but you also have the advantage of making them hard to have your drone spotted unless somebody's looking right at the right spot. But they even obscure your red lights from being detected a little bit. You can see there's a few, if I can get out from behind this, that are on the ground level in here, and you can tuck them back in. Very hard to see. In this section, we can put a few in here and just have them look out across. And, we've got some that are out front of the bar. And this one here is a really good one. So this is the first floor great room. And there's like this little gap here that you can get into. Some of these won't let you get into them, but this one will. And allows you to see across the room pretty well, as well as the upper balcony. Another great little spot you can do is this little section underneath the stairs. You can't really get at unless you jump over the railing. And then you'll find yourself back here. This is a little similar to that other position as far as vantage is concerned. You can be in here, or you can come over here and You got to be careful not to actually jump over it, but now you can see over the edge and down into the basement area. So if we come into the back of the counter here and just sort of jump up in the rear of it, and if we're very careful about our timing, we can jump across to the shelving unit there. One more hop will see us up on top here. We can take a look around and see what we've got. With careful timing, you can also hop across to the top of the counter's lights display. This will give you some other angles, and if you really want to be daring, you can try one more and get up on top of the ceiling fan here. Here's kind of a fun one. Get on top of this baggage unit, and this little light unit can be jumped on, coming on here. And then one more will see us right on top of the ceiling fan. We can keep an eye on the back of the bar from here, as well as the gaming room, and the back of the stairwell that goes either up or down can be watched. Let's check out the kitchen. We've got a few good spots in here. First one is right next to the fireplace if we hop on top of the logs. And then one more about where that fan is. We'll get right on top of this refrigerator. This will give us a good view of what's going on here. If we're careful, we can also come across the edge of the hood, and we can even hop right over to the other one. You can also get on this one here. Let me come down again and show you. If we were down on ground level, we could also just come up here, and then one more up here. So that's another way to get on there. And then we could watch into the dining room if we wanted to. If you're up here and there's people in the kitchen, they're probably going to see you. But if we come over to the side and be careful about our spacing here, give us one good hop up here. And this will really give good line of sight into anything that's happening into the kitchen. Of course, you don't have to be hiding in some very difficult spots in here. The counters have all kinds of debris sort of keeping, too much of an obvious line of sight on your drone when it's back here with its lights lit up. So you can sort of be ducking and hiding behind some of these things and then maybe pop out to get a better view and then pop back in, whatever you want. This is sort of an unusual one. If you come up the basement library stairs, you've got these 3 animal heads on display. And if you come up to the deer head, which is the thinner of the 3, hop up in here and get into this little crevice. Then one more jump, and then you can sort of pop off the back of it a little bit. Let's try this a couple of times until we get where we want. There we go. And now we can sort of rest on the back of that and then see down below or anybody running across. And people are probably not going to think to look for a drone here all that obviously. Here's another one we can do. You can get underneath this table and see some things from under here. Or if you actually go on top of it and then make one more jump onto this unit here, then you can get on top and see over. But if you want to go further yet, you can get on top of the speakers, or actually if you get on the lip of the door and then you're very careful, this might take me a try or two to get, but there we go. We can get on top of the boar's head here, and this will allow us to see everything that's going on. Also in the great room, if we come up the first floor stairs and come over to the side here and just sort of get up on top of this little wooden beam, and then we can hop across again. And you can really stop anywhere along here, but if you go all the way to the end, you're going to be able to score a pretty good spot that will show you just absolutely everything that's going on in the great room. You can see upstairs, downstairs, just all over the place, and this is a really great one. It's almost as good as the Defender camera that's up above it, just as far as vantage is concerned. Coming up here to the second floor library, we've got a really great spot. This one's a lot of fun. If you line up with this display case on the end and just hop up here, you'll make a little noise, but one more will get you on top of the display case. And then one more jump from there, you can get on top of this crossbeam and look around. But you can also drop down, or you could just time your jump to land there in the first place. And getting on the ceiling fan will give you just a fantastic view of everything that's going on in this room. And you can position it to the other side if you need to, whatever you think will work for the kind of view you want to get. A really quick and simple one is if we come off into the second floor office, there's this little gap between the file cabinet and the printer, and just real easy, just tuck in there. So in the second floor master bedroom, we can get up on top of the shelf here in the corner. If we come up by the TV stand and then actually jump on top of the TV, catch that little lip there, And then what you want to do is you want to try to land on top of the books. And then from there, you can kind of rotate left and right and see what's going on. Coming to the second floor master bathroom, if we get on top of the toilet tank and then aim for the shelving unit with the towels on it, we can take a look around the room. If you want to go a little further with that, you can get on top of some of these beams very easily, or we can also do a little hop and get on top of the ceiling fan and keep an eye on things from this position. You can also hop across to some of this other stuff too. Here's a little quick one, getting on top of the radiator, and then one more will put you over on the refrigerator, watching the back end of this hallway. But if you want something that's even more useful, coming over to the front entrance where we have this stack of beer boxes, jumping up on top of here will put us into a position, and then like if you aim for one of these cross beams and then hop up, you'll land on top of the duct work here, and you can ride this down to like this junction here at the end and watch what's going on in the garage, or you can come over to this other one and sort of see what's going on with the cellar entrance, as well as that little side section if you want to watch that. Now coming into the wine cellar proper, we've got all kinds of options. We can get on top of this little display unit here and watching this side of the room. Get on top of some of these wine casks here and just come over one more time. And you can be on any of these, but you can go, all the way into the corner if you want and check things out. You can also drop down to the smaller one if you'd rather see that line. Coming through into the snowmobile garage, just hiding underneath the snowmobile itself is oftentimes a quick and easy spot. You can also get underneath the boat super easy. You can hide underneath, the tires or some of the other debris that's on the ground. You can also, if you come up to one of these boxes here, get on here. One more will see us on top of the little case here, and then we can kind of keep an eye on things from this angle. And you can even get into the boat if you want. There's certain areas that you can kind of get into, but you can also hop up here, and this will put you in a very similar line with this other camera, and then you can watch the room from there. An important thing to remember is it doesn't really matter where you go with your drone as long as you can get into a place that's going to be hidden and will benefit your team from its use. In the initial planning phase, make sure that when your time limit runs out for scouting with your drone, it's not just sitting out in the middle of the room waiting to be shot. Try to get it into one of these spots and you'll be able to provide your team a lot of solid intel. Whether you go up high or down low underneath furniture, doesn't matter, tucking yourself into a plant or behind a box, whatever it is you do. Just make sure that you're in a good spot and feed as much information as possible to the rest of your team. Now, while these are a few of the spots on the map that you can get your drone into, and some of it involves some more fancy drone parkour than others, it's by no means a complete list of every drone spot you can get into. There's really no way to compile such a list because, frankly, as soon as you think you find them all, then there's little glitches and hops that you can do and get into areas where you didn't think you could before. So this is just a few of the spots. Well, that wraps up our coverage for the Chalet map walkthrough. Hopefully now your map knowledge is a little more refined and can help you out the next time you find yourself in a match on this level. Now there's just one more map walkthrough that needs to be done, and that's for the Russian Cafe. Otherwise, every other map in the game has had its coverage completed. So be sure to look for that one coming out in the coming weeks. We'll also have more news and updates coming as soon as more information is released regarding the new content. We'll continue to cover our updated operator profiles, as well as some other miscellaneous videos. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.